Hey guys, welcome to Bastion Time. I am your host, Bastion. This is, well, it's not really Nintendo news. It's going to be more of my review of the Defenders of the Triforce Zelda escape room kind of thing. And really, I don't have a whole heck of a lot to say because, I mean, I don't want to spoil any of the puzzles for you, so it's going to be really tricky to give a really good review of this without ruining some of the puzzles. So it's going to have to be very vague and generic, but I digress. In any case, the point is, on March 18th, I made my way up to Seattle from Portland. Well, actually, I did it on March 17th, but anyways, the point is the event was on March 18th. In the first time slot in the morning at 10 a.m., and I was very tired because I didn't get much sleep before because of traveling and blah, 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 blah. But in any case, I went with my partner and then also one of my old high school friends and his girlfriend and their kid and their kid's friend, who happened to be a super huge Zelda fan and was playing Breath of the Wild just that morning, so that was pretty cool. And so in any case, basically the way it's structured is, well, do I want to talk about how it's structured or do I want to give first impressions? You know, when you hear escape room, or however they're terming it, you think, okay, you're in one room and, oh, a cat has decided to join us. This is Draco. Say hello, Draco. Anyway, and Draco not necessarily like Malfoy, but like a dragon. Anyways, the point is, basically you expect when you hear about an escape room that you're going to be in a room. That's how escape rooms typically are. And you've got to solve one puzzle that leads you to the next puzzle, that leads you to the next puzzle, and then eventually you are able to escape the room, right? That is not what this is like at all. It's like escape the convention center. It's, you go into this very bland, let's just be honest here, convention center sort of gigantic space, and then curtained off are some kiosks. And you eventually have to visit each of these kiosks, and each kiosk represents a different domain, like the Zora domain, the Goron domain. That's interesting. I wonder what they actually called it, now that I'm thinking about it. I don't think they called it anything, but it's obviously Death Mountain. And the Kokiri, which, again, they just called it, I think, Kokiri City or something like that, or Kokiri Village. In any case, you go to these different domains, but you can't go to any domain in any order you want. You've got to solve certain puzzles. Well, okay, I'll get to that. So basically, you go in, you sit down, and a very dramatic presenter who's dressed like Sheik but has a beard. So if Zelda could have grown a beard, that would have been a more convincing male, I guess. But in any case, this person is kind of like telling you the story and how the game works, and then they display Ocarina of Time footage and Ocarina of Time artwork. And it's like, this is the Legend of Zelda in general, right? Not Ocarina of Time specific, but everything about it was related to Ocarina of Time, which was bizarre. That game is ancient at this point, and Breath of the Wild is like the new hip thing. Why not make it Breath of the Wild specific if you're going to go for a specific game? But I don't even think they should have gone for a specific game. I think they should have gone for something generically Zelda or vaguely Zelda. But anyways, I'll get to that later. So in any case, he talks, you see this footage, and basically Ganon is gonna destroy all of Hyrule unless within 1 hour you can get the Master Sword. So in order to get the Master Sword, you're presented with this notebook, and on it, it's got all of these different puzzles, and these are like word games and math games, and it's like, what exactly does this have to do with Zelda? I mean, sure, we've got Zelda words and terminology and such, but these are not Zelda puzzles. We don't do these kinds of puzzles in Zelda games. Zelda games are built on puzzles. Zelda games are just all about puzzles. Why not have some puzzles that are actually related to Zelda? Why not push some blocks around, or reflect light from one angled mirror to another, or any kind of Zelda puzzle. None of that to be seen. It's all solving word games and such. So in any case, you basically fill out this worksheet, and then you take it to the Zora domain. I'm getting a little too specific, I'm worried. I'm getting a little spoilery, so I'll stop there and just say that eventually you get a new set of clues and have to solve those puzzles, and that lets you get to another domain, and then you get new clues and have to solve those puzzles. And there is a little bit of backtracking at two different points. You have to go back to different domains you've already been to do other kinds of things. But all in all, it's fun, but it's not as Zelda specific as you might hope. I mean, they could change the names for all of these things and it wouldn't make a difference. It would have nothing to do with The Legend of Zelda at all. So that was a little disappointing, but I already kind of knew that going in. I knew it was word games and stuff and not really Zelda related. There were a couple puzzles that, though they were not Zelda related whatsoever, they were pretty interesting and well thought out and kind of tricky. So I really appreciated those. There's one situation where, again, I don't want to get spoilery, so trying to be vague here. I didn't plan out at all how I was going to talk about this. But there's one situation where you've got this thing that you've had with you this whole time, and you're like, the clue seems to indicate that I'm supposed to do something to this thing, but surely I'm not supposed to do that. That would ruin it. Why would I be allowed to do that? And so they have different Navis wandering around, so I just wanted to make sure that it was okay, and I was like, hey Navi, is it okay if I basically destroy this thing that I'm pretty sure I'm not supposed to? And Navi says like, well, if you think you should, go ahead. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it then, and sure enough, that was the solution. And then there was another thing that involved another prop that was surprising and interesting, but again, none of this really is Zelda related. It's Zelda in name only. They use a bunch of Zelda names and names of items and terminology, but if you strip all of that away, it's not Zelda at all whatsoever. Especially one thing that really ruffled my feathers a bit was they indicate that you're going to do something that has been a Zelda staple since A Link to the Past. And that involves a bit of destruction, and so I thought, oh, this is cool. They've got a little kiosk just for this to make it safe. We're going to get to... Fine, it's not spoiling anything. I thought we were going to get to smash pots and find some treasure in it or something, and no, the pots were actually beanbags, and you're throwing them at a target. What the heck does that have to do with Zelda? At no point do you throw pots at targets, let alone beanbags. It was just kind of frustrating. It was like, you guys could have reworked this a little bit, and yeah, maybe pots are expensive, but if you only need one per team, then it can't get that expensive. Plus, they're raking in tons of cash. This thing is not cheap. This thing is quite pricey, and they've got tons of people, so you have teams of 6, and then there are like at least 10 to 20 teams of 6 all at once, and then they have this multiple times throughout the day. They're doing fine on profit. They could have allowed us to break some pots, but anyway, I did have a lot of fun. I don't want to make it sound like I didn't. I had a great time. It's just, I wish they would consult like legit Zelda fans. Kind of the sense that I got from it was they contacted Nintendo and were like, hey, we do escape room type things. Let us do a Zelda thing. And then they were like, Nintendo was like, okay, sure, go ahead. And then they were like, wait, we've never played Zelda before. Can somebody tell us what Zelda is about? And somebody probably said, it's about solving puzzles. And then they were like, great, we're all about solving puzzles. And then they did not bother finding out what types of puzzles you solve in Zelda. They just made their own puzzles that were, again, word games, math problems, stuff that even when it slightly approaches Zelda kind of things, like there are treasure chests that have locks on them, combo locks. At no point in any Zelda game do you have to open a treasure chest by solving a combo, like a lock. It's just you kick it, it opens. Or you find the big key or something. Why not have us find a big key to open this instead of having to do math problems to figure out what the combo is? It's just always just so close to being Zelda-like, and then it ruins it by not going all the way Zelda. Again, if I were to design something like this, I would have it set up in multiple rooms, kind of like a Zelda 1 style dungeon, where there are a bunch of little square rooms or little rectangular rooms, and you gotta solve this puzzle to get into this next room, and this puzzle to get into this next room, and then you could stagger the teams a little bit so that it's not... That was the other distracting thing, is you're surrounded by like hundreds of people, and you're like, this just doesn't feel very Zelda-like. You're so used to Link being one person, where in this instance, you're Link divided into 6 because there are 6 people on your team, and I don't know. I just feel like it could have been designed in a way that was much more Zelda, and you could have had puzzles like pushing blocks, or, you know, or even things like you maneuver a bunch of blocks around to make a picture, and then that picture gives you a clue to solve another puzzle or something. But there was nothing like that. It was just, here's your worksheet, do your work, and it, I don't know. Again, tons of fun, just not very Zelda-like. But and my team, in case you're wondering, it is very difficult. So you kind of get used to the style of puzzles, and you kind of know what to look out for, and then you get to the final puzzle, and it's almost like a trick question, in my opinion. It's like nothing in it would let you... It's basically by accident if you happen to well, I don't want to give anything away, that was almost a spoiler, but in any case, the final puzzle is ridiculously not a puzzle. It's just a trick question, really. And that was frustrating, because we were so close to winning, we totally would have, but if it were like a legit regular puzzle, but it was not, it was just a trick question. So, anyways, I did have a lot of fun, it just wasn't very Zelda-like, and I wish they would pay me to come up with something more Zelda-like for their eventual sequel, but that's not gonna happen. But anyways, that's my review. If you also have attended this, again, no spoilers. I don't want any spoilers down in the comments. We want to keep all the puzzles fresh for each person that eventually will go to it. So no spoilers, but let me know what you thought down in the comments, or if it is coming to your city and you've decided not to go or decided to go, just let me know. I'm very curious. That's it for this episode of review live action Zelda time. I don't know. Anyways, see you guys tomorrow for some news. Bye, guys.